Hi, this is Mark. This is podcast number 10. I'm sitting here with a dear friend from a hiking group. I won't mention any names, but we're just going to discuss how I came up with the idea of developing Lovappy and kind of what went on prior and what do I expect from Lovappy and so forth. So I'll introduce my dear friend as Miss K. And we like to keep people anonymous here. Everybody knows I'm Mark, so no big deal. So, hello.
Hello. We have had a lot of fun times hiking.
We have had a lot of fun times hiking. I'm the most famous hiker and meetup, considering I'm so controversial. So you asked me, how did I come up with Lovappy?
Yeah, I was wondering exactly how it came about.
Well, I met some really great people hiking. As I tried to explain to you, is that I did not start hiking until one day I was sitting on the couch. I had just gotten out of the hospital after having my second heart attack.
How old were you?
I was 53 at the time.
Oh, okay.
And I had my first heart attack at 44. I had my second heart attack at 53, which was related to actually a hospital visit in which I went to Deborah, because at the time I did not have insurance, and I felt uncomfortable as if my heart was giving me problems. So I went to Deborah Hospital, and they put the wrong size stent in me.
Oh, no.
And it twisted and closed off my LAD 100%, and I got raced to the hospital. I lost most of my heart. So I spent a lot of time in the quote-unquote dying room until I convinced them to let me out of the hospital because they didn't want to let me out. I was there for about 3 weeks. And before they let me leave, they insisted that I wear an external defibrillator, which is actually like a bra with wires that come out of it and a box with a big battery on the side. And I was sitting on the couch and I went on meetup.com to try to do something other than sit on my couch and wait to die. So I went to a hiking event and I had a nice time just hiking.
Oh, wow. And what was that box? What was that box showing?
It would go off when it needed to, strike me to kind of jolt my heart. But there were a lot of false alarms as well. But it was very scary. It was actually a very, very scary event because when you heard the alarm go off, you knew that your heart was stopping.
Oh, I imagine. That would be terrible.
So it is pretty scary. But I've kind of put that all behind me.
Right.
And I don't really care. I mean, I just want to live every second I possibly can.
Exactly.
I do have my very fearful times in the middle of the night when I feel pain or if I'm driving or whatever. But, for the most part, I'm okay. But getting back to hiking.
Okay.
So I actually joined a 50-plus hiking group in which I met a lot of nice people, a few not so nice people, but most part nice people. And then they were kind of exposed to my personality, which apparently is not really for the hiking trail. So I'm very friendly and I like to know everything about people, when what kids they have, blah, blah, blah. And I found
you're personable.
I found that people were so closed. They didn't want to tell you anything about them. They were like just there to quote unquote hike.
Well, it seems like there's always a lot of conversations going, but maybe not so personal type conversations, you mean?
Yeah, I think it seems. I don't even know. I don't even listen to those boring conversations.
Yeah,
I go right for the throat. I want to know about you. I want to live. I think people don't understand that my whole idea is living. Because I'm dying.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm so hungry to live.
Right. You want to live every moment.
I want to know about you. I want to know about your children. I want to know what crises you're having. I want to know about, what your husband did, what your husband doesn't do, what your wife does, what she doesn't do. I want to know who you are because I want to live.
Right.
And then, being involved with the hiking group and getting kicked out actually from the 50-plus hiking group. Because I'm so outspoken. Okay. I started my own hiking group.
Oh, that's how it did. Okay.
And that's how it happened. And then I was completely shocked because for the first 6 months, we had very few people attend. But I was just myself, and I made the rules, which were not many. And people just started showing up. I felt like I was a clown in the circus, because people would just show up.
Well, and you had a very relaxed way of, even when people wanted to sleep in a little and come to a hike later. There's not very many hikes that would start at 2:30 on a Saturday.
Right.
And you would even wait for people if they got lost. A lot of leaders.
Yeah, I mean, that's common courtesy. I mean, the way I felt about it is, hey, this is somebody's day off.
Right.
Why do we have to worry about being on time or being a professional hiker or being so goddamn anal in the trails. I mean, God, I hated when people are like, we're so serious about hiking. I'm like, get off. Like, is there an exit here? Can we get rid of this person? You got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to Lovappy, the way I ran the hikes, I learned a lot about people. Because although they were very closed, typically when I first met them, there was something that made them open up to me.
Right.
And as they opened up, I learned more and more about their loneliness. Although they would never admit they were lonely, I saw the loneliness. I saw the reason why they were there was for a full day of entertainment. Entertainment from me on the trail, and then entertainment from the people that were with them.
Right.
And then further entertainment into the night, 7:30, having dinner with people. And I said to myself, if so many people, sometimes we'd have 70 people on a hike.
Wow, that's a lot.
Would show up for a hike and then show up for dinner. These are not people that have a lot of people home. They wouldn't do that to those people.
Yeah.
They said these people were lonely.
They needed companionship.
Yeah. So I listened a lot to what they said about dating apps.
And then you came up with the idea of Lovappy from just compiling different ideas from people?
Well, I had a program that I was writing called Logic, in which I had programmers working for me.
Okay.
And I was in the process of finishing that. But then I got the bug about dating, and I started to hear, and I've experienced other dating apps. I started to hear about what people liked and didn't like. And I have to say that there is nothing in my app that goes along with what people liked and didn't like. Oh. It's strictly my idea. So I know that a lot of people are on some really popular sites, and I hear about what happens, and I just kind of like reverse engineered about what was happening to them.
Right.
It's like anything. The most handsome guys or tallest guys are getting most of the answers, and the prettiest women are getting most of the emails. So I wanted to change that. And I started to devise what I felt would be a methodology for connecting people.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Yeah, so it really wasn't anybody's idea on the trail. It's just that I said, my God, with my desire to live so intense and my understanding that living is loving, I decided that I was first going to actually create a dating app that was more for arranged marriages in America.
Okay.
And I hope I live long enough to actually implement that, because I do think that sometimes when you look at the results of relationships that begin from dating is that they fail so serialistically or regularly. Perhaps people don't know who to choose, and they'd be better off somebody choosing for them. So that's what my original idea was, is to put together an arranged marriage, quasi-American style love, where people selected who you should be with.
Would you think that would work for you?
If people were really sincere and got to know me and really got to know me and understood me, I think it could work, because the concept was not that they would just pick a random person and say you should be with them. The concept was that cumulatively there'd be judgment from family members as well as an outside audience like hikers that would be selecting people, and I would probably go with that person. Now,
people that you sort of knew fairly well would help.
No, I think the concept is that the group gets to know that one person who wants to be fixed up.
Okay.
And then the search goes on, but you'd have to have a large sample to choose from.
Okay.
And then the person in that sample would have to be willing and blah, blah, blah. So I think it actually could work, and I think it's feasible in the United States, particularly because of the failure numbers of relationships. But I didn't go that route because it was too complex. The algorithm that we had written, and we have still, is complex and would take me 3 or 4 years to develop the program with a low budget. With a low budget. So Lovappy is really, we started off calling it Lovappy Lite because we took only a portion of the algorithm that we had written and implemented it, which is voice.
Okay.
So voice was one part of this big arranged marriage application that we wrote the algorithm for.
Oh,
and we just sliced it out because we didn't have funding. It had to come from my efforts of my paycheck every week, and it was just too much to do for the arranged marriage. So that's why you have Lovappy, voice, and what we have in it now, which is pretty intense, but it's not the full vision that I had.
Right. It sounds like the other way was more like a matchmaker, sort of.
No, it really wasn't a matchmaker. I don't even want to get into it because it's a very powerful idea.
Okay.
And the algorithm that we wrote is extreme.
Right.
And I would, if I live, like to implement it.
Oh, okay.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
A lot of thought and work has gone into this. A lot
of thought went into it. It was originally just supposed to be a bunch of voices, and then we kind of expanded it to, a quick profile. I did just get a call from California from someone that said, well, you don't have anything in your profiles that define someone as being in between, like in between outdoorsy and a homebody.
Oh.
And I'm like, well,
that's kind of valid, is it?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I think that if you're outside hiking, you're outdoorsy.
Yeah.
If you still like to go home and watch a movie, I still think you're qualified as outdoorsy.
I suppose, because there are a certain number of people that don't like outdoorsy stuff at all.
Right. So if you're indoorsy and you don't hike at all, you don't swim or kayak or whatever, you kind of want to let people know that. And I know a lot of people. My ex-wife, the darling that she is, she doesn't hike.
Okay.
She's not interested in biking. I don't even know if she knows how to ride a bike.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, she's just that way, and she needs a guy that understands that. Whereas a girl like you, as fantastic as you are, I think it would be sensible that you be with a guy that likes to hike, likes to bike.
Right.
Because that's sharing time together.
Yeah, those are things I love to do. So it's best to have a person that loves to do that.
With my ex-wife, Maureen, went on hikes or strenuous walks. I had to carry her.
Oh, really?
I did. I used to carry her.
Wow.
Everywhere.
Gee.
She was just so damn lazy. She's not my type. I mean, I'm.
That was a big workout for you.
Well,
upper body and lower body.
She was light. She was light and fit at the time, and
yeah.
I didn't really mind.
No, I don't mean that. Just carrying anyone, even a baby or a toddler, is
a
lot of work on that.
I love lifting things.
Yeah.
My passion for being a roofer is I love to have exertion every day. I love to lift heavy things, and it just kind of relieves my.
You like to work hard.
Yeah, I just love to work hard. If I don't have sweat on my brow, I feel guilty. I really do. I could do without the stress, but I love the passion of working hard. And really, if I cut it down to what it is, when I worked the first day on the roof in Illinois, it was camaraderie and tremendous physical exertion.
Right.
And I just oh man, this is perfect.
Yeah,
that
was
perfect
for you.
But let's get back to Lovappy.
Okay.
So getting to know the people a lot and getting to know and then starting to see little relationships form in the groups and so forth. I kind of attribute it to my technique of running the group. I'll take credit for 19 couples that have formed.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's a lot of people that have come together and pretty much stayed together. And I think I pissed them off enough that they had a common interest in hating me that they said, this is our common ground. We can both hate Mark together.
I don't think that's true.
So there's got to be something that I was doing right that brought all these people together that came there alone.
Yeah.
How could they find each other? I mean, that's a pretty good record. I don't think I helped enough people because there was still a number of lonely people that came and then never came back. There were a number of men who were very shy that would confide in me and wanted to really find someone that could love them and respect them, and they gave up because some of the women on the trail were actually quite cruel, with their comments that they made openly about men. And I have to say, I didn't hear that from men about women.
Well, and some people just sort of want to go on a co-ed activity together. I think there's always that.
I think so. And maybe that's where I went wrong with running the group, is that I was there with this blatant attempt to really connect people. And then there were those people that were just into just doing the hike.
Right.
And that's where the confusion really came in. Whereas I wanted people to connect, even if they just became friends.
Yeah.
And I wanted to respect each other's ideas and listen to opposite ideas. I saw the polarity of individuals happening. And that wasn't going to happen. And that's why I stopped the hiking. Because I went from having so many friends to having so many haters. And I just said, screw it.
Well, I liked the hikes when we would talk about controversial subjects because it's interesting to hear other viewpoints on a lot of different topics.
Yeah, I guess, since it was kind of my party, I was going to run it my way no matter what.
Yeah.
I want to bring people together by difference as opposed to what they find similar. And I think getting back to Lovappy, I'm not really looking to see people get together based on, well, that's my perfect profile, because what I've seen in the world is that, opposites attract and they maintain this bond. One couple that happened in the hiking group, was a person that was not very well educated and a person that was extremely educated. And they've had, from what I understand, they've had a great relationship and solid relationship, even with differences. And I find that to be a good sample of what it really takes to bring people together. Is there, sure, there may be a few things that are endearing, but then the opposite things actually complement each other and bring people together on a more solid basis.
Is it opposite in thinking or activities that are opposite?
I think I shouldn't say opposite. It's complementary skill sets.
Oh, okay. Personality way.
He can cut the tree down. She can, kind of make sure he divides it in symmetrical portions or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Say as an example. So, and I really did see a really interesting variety of couples that formed, and I loved it. I loved watching it.
Yeah.
So, Lovappy it's about voice. Of course, I threw in the question of the day because that is, again, my style.
Right.
If I can ask a controversial question, and
gets people talking.
It gets people talking. It makes you want to go back and listen to what he answered for that, what she answered for that.
That's a great idea.
And it's kind of what I did on the trail. As you know, I used to have current events in the middle of the hike. And I'd say, okay, we're going to talk about current events. And I'd look at my audience, 30, 40 hikers, and I say, what could I possibly bring up that was in the news that happened that will get people's faces really upset and they can walk away with a conversation that, it stimulates the conversation because there's going to be variety of opinions in the crowd.
It makes it interesting.
Yeah. And, the hike is just so short. You could do 6, 7, 8 miles like nothing.
Right.
Right. But if it's the same old stuff you're talking about.
Right.
The bar scene, how's the weather? It's just not going to bring people together. Yeah,
it's more fun to have an actual concrete, subject to talk about.
Right. So that's the concept of Lovappy, and that's how it came about. Is I pursued not really to get people upset, but I pursued to get people talking.
Right.
And I think that voice obviously is, communication.
You can tell a lot about somebody by their voice, I feel like.
I think so. I mean, I have a particular feeling towards women's voices, and I like someone that has, good grammar and good pronunciation and is interesting,
Right.
So I think it might work. I hope that some people will really use the app because, it's my desire to really see people happy.
Right.
That's why with Lovappy, our motto is make love happy.
That's a good motto.
It's a good motto. I'm sure that people that have been married 40 years or 30 years have their struggles. But, we've even made Lovappy accessible to the married couples because we've built in a thing called dating places, where people can say, wow, I want to take my wife out, or I want to make a suggestion to my husband, where we can go. So now we have dating places, which is a database on Lovappy, which is free. You don't have to pay anything for it. And you can find what people think about a restaurant or a hike or whatever based on dating preferences.
Oh, that's good.
Is it great for 2 females, 2 males, a male and female? Good for a married couple or just single couples? And I think, it just makes sense.
Are you targeting a certain area?
Well, right now we're between Philadelphia and New York is where we want to launch it. But we hope that, it just grows and takes on its own life and works. We also have events. I'm going to get the hiking started back up again. So you can go right on your Lovappy app, click events, and you can see a pop-up concert or a reading of a new audiobook or a hike, whatever. We're going to try to be very creative with the events.
Right.
So that we're not just an app. We're more of a lifestyle for people to kind of utilize. And again, it's for married people and for single people. And just like in my hiking group, I have a rule: no cheating.
Right. That's good.
Married people should not go and pursue a single person and vice versa. These are the rules. If the app is for you, then, we have principles or we're not trying to implement our own morality because, I'm certainly not perfect, but, just trying to eliminate some of the pain in life that comes down from that type of activity.
And how does the music portion work on the app?
Well, we think there's a lot more ways to communicate. For one, I'm not a big music person, but I know that, people are. People live by music. They literally, I've dated women that live by lyrics, and I observe that. I can't even tell you the name of most artists with a great song. I just say, oh, that's a really great song.
Right.
But I didn't even know who wrote it or who sang it or anything. But I wanted to implement something that people use to communicate. So what we're doing with Lovappy with music is we have a second app. It's called Up Yours, in which you can upload your music if you're a musician and your lyrics and attempt to sell them to the audience based on them gifting it to attract another person. So I may send you a song that says a certain in the lyrics like, hey, let's go on a hike, blah, 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 whatever the lyrics that make sense to me. I send it to you. You look at the lyrics. Oh, isn't that cute? It's like a greeting card, but it's also a way to communicate with music.
Right.
So that's what music is about.
That's interesting. That's a nice feature.
I think it's great for artists that want to get their music out. I think the greatest music has always been written about love or about failed love. I mean, the 70s, when I grew up, were full of a bunch of crying men about, the girl that left them. I mean, it was just like Heartbreak City. And I think that's what music is.
I think a lot of music does stem from people, feeling pain, extreme, feelings, and then they put it to lyrics and music.
Right. So we also have gifts.
Okay.
Right. So we haven't actually lined up any retailers or brands yet, but I'll get out there and I'll get that done. So the concept is, I sent her a song. I sent her a message. I see she's into cars. I'm going to send her something for a car.
Oh, wow.
Even if it's just, something
That's
simple.
That's nice.
Or I'm going to send her, my vision is actually guys are stupid enough to probably buy somebody a car. I think that, let's face it. Women are interested in people that can provide for them. And I think that people will use gifts as a way to communicate as well.
They probably will.
Kind of just to express like, hey, I'm not cheap. I just bought you these wool gloves, whatever. And what's nice is you don't actually get it shipped to your house. You have to go to a retail store to get it.
Oh,
so it forces you into a social situation that nobody can track because we never say where you're going or where those are carried or anything else.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but this whole conversation started with you and I when you said, why did I create Lovappy?
Right. Yeah, I was curious.
So, but you said I was doing it for myself to find somebody.
Well, I was thinking that maybe you were looking for love yourself.
Well, I've been looking for love my whole life, just like everybody. I am no different, although people will say that I am. I'm no different than anyone. I am the same as everyone.
Right.
We're all looking for love. Sometimes when you get caught up in quest for monetary things or to be the greatest at something, you're really more interested in the first requirement, which is loving yourself, right? That's why you're in that pursuit. But then once you can find that satisfaction of loving yourself, then you have time to love somebody else.
Right.
And, I think that being so close to death myself is I do want to have an understanding of life and what it's about. And I want to share it with people.
Yeah.
So I started Lovappy for a selfish reason and an unselfish reason. The unselfish reason was to bring people together and see them fall in love. The selfish reason would be to leave something for my children of monetary value. So this is not an altruistic action on my part. It's a capitalistic action to make money, but also we have the privilege of being altruistic by trying to help people come together. We can solve a lot of mental illness problems if people had someone to love.
Yeah.
We can prevent the next shooting. We can prevent the next car accident, the next suicide jump, the next pain of the next generation. If we can get people to believe that there is love out there and perhaps, unfortunately, leave a marriage and find someone else like I have done, or just get to the point where their marriage is cured by the interaction of socializing at some of our events. Because I think that married couples, what they do wrong is they close the door on social.
Right. People need people.
Right.
People really
need
do.
people, and they need to go out and socialize in a very behaved manner with all types of people, not just married couples. Because married couples can be just as destructive to a marriage as running across single couples with hope. Just imagine the married couples showing such a great example as there are people that are out there single, those single people are saying, wow, how did you guys meet? How did it happen? You guys look so beautiful together.
Right.
A lot of people, when I say that Lovappy is for married couples and singles, right away they're like, oh, you want to destroy married families. No, I don't.
No.
I think it's a great opportunity for people to share their expertise on how they've made it this far, how they stay in love. And I think that single people's quest, being alone and interacting with married people, gives them the ability to hope that they can be just like those other people.
Yeah.
So, I know it's a stretch, but
a big mixture is always nice, I think.
I have no problem hanging with married people or single people.
Right.
I think that's the real world.
Yeah, that's totally true.
It's the workplace, right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, all hell doesn't break loose and break out in workplaces, does it? I've heard about Christmas parties, but I'm the type of guy nobody invites. So that's pretty much what Lovappy's about.
And when will it be available in the App Store?
Well, we just released the beta in the App Store.
Okay.
We're in the middle of Chinese New Year, so our iOS app is also released, but we have one thing we're doing, so we're not going to put that as beta in the iOS store until after the Chinese New Year.
Okay.
Which is a week away.
Oh.
So
right.
that will be resolved in a week, but we're ready to go. And
that's wonderful.
We're going to try to give away $500 at the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Belmar, New Jersey, which is where we have our southern office, so to speak. And hopefully...
and that's March 3rd, is it?
March 3rd, we'll do the drawing at 5 o'clock. And it's not going to be like a drawing like you stick your hand in a bucket. It's going to be more like, all right, we have a list of all the people that have profiles. We'll probably throw a dart at the wall or something, or but it's going to be totally random. Nobody who is associated with Lovappy can win. Family members can't win. It's going to be a legitimate gift to someone who gets lucky. Hopefully
great.
We'll have more than 2 users
on
St. Patrick's Day.
And do you know the hours? I know it's in Belmar, right?
Well, we'll have the storefront open, which we're tentatively thinking on having food for people to come in. We're not going to serve alcohol. Sorry about that. But maybe hot tea and cider or something if it's cold. And then we'll have maybe some sandwiches that people can nosh on and just kind of get to know us.
Yeah. What's your address?
Our address is 1110 Main Street, Belmar.
Okay.
And the doors will be open, 7 o'clock in the morning, and we'll just kind of hang out here. We'll have a video camera around. We'll be taking pictures, so, have the heads up that you might be in the picture. Another thing we're doing to try to promote this is we're doing a casting call. We just bought our first screenplay, so we're producing a episode every week. So we'll have a casting call weekly. Anyone that answers the casting call has to have a Lovappy account with a full profile, but you'll do your read. We'll pick the 3 or 4 people for the filming weekly, and you'll get full credit, and we're filming. So
nice.
Yeah, so you can read the screenplay in the morning. The people we pick will stick around. We'll get them into costume and action.
That sounds very
filming.
Exciting.
I think it will be.
Lots of things on the horizon.
Our first screenplay that we bought is called Baby Furniture. And I think it's a pretty good play. I read through it. I bought it. I liked it. Of course, you're listening to a webcast now. We do webcasts. We're always looking for musicians, for interesting people to come on the webcast. And, this is how we hope to grow Lovappy.
Yeah, I think that sounds very nice and organic way to grow it.
At the least, it's going to be fun,
Yeah.
I hope to roof a little bit less, but if not, if not, you can just call me to fix your roof, and I'll be able to do next week's episode.
Yeah.
Where if you're a screenwriter and you have a play, we're looking for 10 to 15-minute short screenplays. They have to somehow... We're not looking for horror. We're not looking for science fiction. We're looking for something that's real life. Something real life. Anything real life.
To do with relationships? Or...
Well, I think life is a relationship. So... I think there's just a million great stories. People that survive car accidents. I don't even want to give out ideas.
Right.
I just want people to dig deep and try to write a screenplay. I don't want people to even necessarily have to be defined as a screenwriter. I just want people with great stories that can put together a screenplay.
Right. Come up with some original ideas.
Right. Original ideas, and you never know. The world is hungry for content right now. And we're going to do our part to provide as much content as possible. And you know what? If Lovappy is only a small little dating app, I'm okay with it. As long as we get those 19 couples a year to get together.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
That's nice.
Yeah. You got any
Yeah,
other
that's going
questions?
to be a good feeling, when you see some people getting together.
I
That'd
think
be
it's
nice.
going to be great. I mean, we have, in our site, we have a thing called Upload Happy Couple Pictures.
Uh-huh.
So we're looking for always pictures of happy couples,
Okay.
and isn't it beautiful when you see a happy couple?
It's really nice. Yeah.
It's nice. I mean, not everyone has to be divorced.
That's right.
So, well, anyway, thank you for your
Well-
time. I hope we can have another discussion one day.
Yeah. This was such a nice way of hearing about Lovappy.
Did you learn anything?
I did.
All right, good.
I did.
Thank you.